You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive. Stiff arms to your jaw, we breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown, we taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to Pops Pod, where these pops here give you a little inside information on the recruiting process and advice along the way. Duke, Daniel, how you fellas doing tonight?
Doing good, man.
Doing great. Doing great. Glad to be here, man.
Happy to be back.
Shout out everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all for showing up. Hit that like button. But like I always say, the number one thing you guys can do for us right now, take a second before we start diving into this. Share this on your X account, your Instagram account, your Facebook account, the whole 9 yards, man. We appreciate everybody that gives us the support here on this channel, man. Go every other Friday here on this channel. Daniel and Duke will always be here. They got, some sons that are playing football at Ohio State right now. They've been through the process. So if you're a parent or you're a recruit yourself, this is where you're going to want to come, man. They've both been through the process personally and as well as help sons through the process. So if you want to hear what it's like, you want to get some questions answered from people that have been through it and will have your best interest in heart, this is the place to do it, man. So I want to take a second real fast, man, because as you know, when you start a YouTube channel, man, you get a group of people that always show up. They're always in the chat. They're always supporting the channel. And obviously here on Buckeye Boys, man, we got a pretty good support group. So I got to give a shout out to Aaron real fast in the chat. Dude hooked me up with this. I guess I got to get way back. Here we go.
Nice.
This plaque, Shape of Ohio, man, it's fire, dude. It's
That
fire. So we're going to get him on the show here soon, and he's going to show us some more stuff he's making. What'd you say?
Is that made out of wood?
Yeah. I think he
That's
routed it out or something, but it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. So I got that now, and I got I'm going to try to keep this off the screen today, but so anyway. Well, fellas, let's dive into it. We got a good show planned tonight. We're going to talk about, dude, there's so many people reclassing, so many kids reclassing. We're going to dive into the camp season. These players got to get out. They got to show their skills to the nation, to the colleges, to show them what they're made of. And then obviously the ever so popular topic of NIL. We'll dive into that at the end. We're going to start off with these reclasses. So, Daniel, I know this is a topic you really wanted to talk about. So start off and tell us. I see kids. You just mentioned a kid just reclassed today from the class of 27 to 26. So give us your perspective. Let us hear it, man.
Man, it's an interesting subject. Like I say, there have been a couple big name kids in these 27 class that have reclassed. I don't know what you'd call it, up or down to the 26 class. And I think it's a unique thing. Like I say, there's a couple kids in California, really highly ranked defensive back a couple days back, if I'm not mistaken. And then just with the hometown kind of feel, where Texas kind of flavor. We're really big name kid a couple weeks ago in Booby Feaster. So I mean,
Booby reclassed to.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, man. You were slaying lions and tigers, so you might have missed that. Yeah. So a couple weeks back, Booby Feaster jumped in and reclassed to 26. So I mean, it's something that it's starting to become. I think a little bit. It's not that big now, but I think certain situations, certain places, you may see this thing kind of move a little bit further. And it's an ironic thing in my case, right? But this kind of happened, again, we've had guys kind of do this before, Ryan Williams, at Bama and, places like that. I remember back about a year ago, I kind of somebody had jumped in and reclassed. I can't remember exactly who it was at this particular time, but you know, I remember jumping on Twitter and having this, you know, kind of conversation with somebody about, you know, I think especially in Texas, I you know, UIL. If you're listening, anybody who you know may be involved with UIL, if you want to see your big athletes, your prime guys move around, get out of school early, you know, do things like, you know, that may be detrimental to your programs, continue to run things how you are, because I think this is part of the reason why you're seeing guys doing what they're doing. You know, it's especially places like Texas where we don't have these opportunities to go out and earn, you know, NIL dollars.
Oh yeah, in high school, yeah, that's true.
And I think, you know, without speaking for, you know, anybody or any families, you know, when it comes down to it, I think that's really what you're talking about when it comes to, you know, reclassing with some of these guys. You know, I know you have your, you know, your cases like where, you know, with your Jakeem Stewarts and guys who are just like, you know, absolute freaks. But you know, in most cases, you know, I'm seeing guys who, you know, maybe quote unquote maybe not ready to go, but they're still jumping in this thing and taking that chance. So, you know, I just think it's an interesting topic.
You see someone like that right now? Because from my view, well, I'm like, 'cause I'm not a native Texan, and like all my kids are young, so they all could be like, so like they all could be, you know, a year behind or two, right? And you know, they could have been held back, but you know, where I'm from, I'm like, you know, you play the cards that you dealt, right? And prepare accordingly. So you had friends that, you know, were holding their kids back, and, you know, for athletic reasons. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that, because, you know, my kids, they were advanced, you know, in a classroom. So, you know, with that comes, you know, behavior issues. But I think now with the NIL, you know, being, you know, available to high school kids now in other states and not here, I see why kids would, you know, that would be a, you know, something they would do. And I'm actually not against that, you know, in certain cases. To your point, I think Booby Feaster, that kid is a beast,
right?
Like he can do it, right? But if you're already ranked, you know, in your current class, I think I would think it's like unnecessary, unless you're going up to go, you know, faster. Going back, I'm like, you know, what more do you want to do? Right, you're a 4-star. Okay, I'm gonna go back and do this another year for what?
Yeah, I don't think that's something that I haven't seen that happen yet. What I'm seeing is guys, you know,
reclassing up.
Yeah, moving from 27, moving up to 26, or, you know, something like that.
Well, I can get with that, man. You know, if they're ready to do it, but you know what, parents, I don't think understand like just the logistics with, you know, making that happen.
Yeah, and you know
that comes with that.
What you just said is a key word. I mean, if they're ready to do it, and what constitutes, you know, if they're really ready to do that, you know what I mean? I think those are some of the things that people need to weigh out a little bit more, as opposed to, you know, the one thing that's glaring that I think most people are making this decision based on. You know, we all know what that is.
Yeah.
You know, again, you know, just certain positions, man, you know, you're trying to jump up a class, and, you know, you're going to a certain conference playing, you know, grown men.
Rude awakening.
You got to have not only, you know, your body right, you got to have your mind right for some of these things.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's just an interesting subject, you know, that I kind of wanted to touch on, and, you know, just kind of get you guys, you know, what you guys thought about that.
Well, I'll say this. It's not, I mean, even 5 years ago, man, like if somebody reclassified, it was a big deal. You know what I mean? Like everybody heard about it. They talked about it. They knew that the dude could physically do it as well. And these days, it's becoming common. It's not like big news anymore for somebody to reclassify, right? And for me, sitting back, I don't have experience in this area at all. So from the outside looking in, with little knowledge on it and experience, so don't judge me for this, but from the outside looking in, it's like, I'm not sure if it's worth the risk, right? Because does the reward, is the reward worth the risk of doing it? Because if you're going too early, physically, mentally, emotionally, for whatever reason, you could really damage your football career, right? But if you stay, you're going to be more developed, more ready, have more experience, the whole 9 yards. But when everything changes, what we're kind of hitting at here is really, so what is the benefit of reclassing? Well, today, the benefit is money sooner. That's just what it is for people. But I don't know. I guess talk to us about, guys, why would, if money is out of the equation, why would somebody reclassify? Why would you chance that? It doesn't make sense to me.
I would bet, well, man, for me, well, like what I would, the only reason I would see that is like if you're just, head and shoulders above, the high school competition, and you're just ready to, get it going, and get in there now and get, and get developed. But with the ability to graduate early, I would think that would kind of, negate doing that. Like, all right, I'll just finish this high school year, and I'll just enroll in the spring, which makes all the sense, because now you're able to get in there, learn the playbook, learn the get acclimated to college, your classes, without the stressors of a football season as well, right? So that makes sense. But doing it a whole for a whole year for NIL, I just think I don't see the benefit in it, honestly, because it's going to be there the next year anyways.
Right.
Yeah, probably better, right? Whatever you're being offered in that moment, just imagine having another year of your body growing physically, another year of training and experience, and learning your plays and learning the fundamentals of the position that you're playing. Whatever that NIL offer is, then what makes you think it's not going to be more? You know what I mean? Or if that's your main focus. But honestly, we'll talk more about the NIL thing when we get onto that subject, but that's such a big part of a lot of, decisions that are being made. There's a question in here. Yeah, right here. A lunatic wants to know, tell me why you benefit from reclassifying if your bodies don't look NFL ready now. I mean, I think we answered the question.
Yeah.
I think we know why.
That doesn't.
Why they do that.
Your body's not going to look NFL ready now, whether you reclass or not, right? So, but to his point, you do want to be able to physically, develop a little bit more before you go into the rigors of college. It's just no rush, man. I think it's taken away from, the high school experience now, because, kids are just so eager to, go and, partake in all the college stuff. Like I said, it's gonna be there. And I think and I think it may be a lot of the people that's, in the orbit of these kids, and, just giving them the wrong, the wrong advice. I honestly don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's something that's going to be, in your best interest. Again, just on the physical and mental aspect of it, man. Just, body wise, just taking it pounding from, grown men. I mean, and again, and just all the small things that have to go with, just being a student athlete every day, man, just kind of ramping that up an extra year, with no real goal in sight. I just don't think it's the biggest benefit.
Yeah. I almost think, parents used to do it, teachers used to do it. Like when kids want something really bad, like, all right, tell me why. If you can give me a rational, well thought out reason why you want to do this, then it makes sense, I'll let you do it.
Yeah.
But if not, then no, we're not just doing it because somebody else is doing it or because it's available to you. The one thing I would say though is, as far as like, other states allowing high school athletes to have NIL. And like in those cases, it, depending on the kid's circumstances, it can be helpful in paying for whatever, extra training or, meals or what have you that parents have to come out of pocket for. I can see that. So I'll be more of an advocate for, NIL, a limited NIL opportunity in high school for high school athletes to help, pay for that additional training, which is going to prepare them for college and, in those routines. So, yeah, I'm an advocate for that, but the reclassing, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already have a pretty good example of how leaving early versus staying longer can affect your career. And that's in the NFL draft. And even these decisions some of these college kids have to make, right? Do I go to the NFL after my junior year, or do I stay back another year and do it? So I think this is another example, because we're seeing more and more of this, of what college football is turning more and more into. And that's an NFL type of model with NIL and stuff. So you're seeing this happen. Kids are literally, acting like their high school careers are now their college careers. And you got like the semi-pros, and then you got to go on to the pros, because I mean, you wonder if these kids in their mind are thinking, well, I'm getting this offer now. I don't want to risk an injury. Let me reclassify and start getting paid. Like, do you think that's going through any of their minds?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it is. I think it's going through a lot of guys' minds. That's the sad part about it. It used to be about development and education, and now it's just about what you can get.
I get the bag quicker.
Yeah.
You're missing a lot. You take away your senior year. Just do it in your own lives. Take away your senior year of high school.
Yeah.
How what all did you guys learn your senior? What experience did you have? What dude? I wouldn't want to do that. You know what I mean? But
you want to. I mean, and the parents want that. I mean, shoot. Moms want to help them. They look forward to seeing them go to prom. Well, dance too. Look forward to seeing their kids their boys go to prom, and all the pageantry that comes with that. And you're like taking that away to hurry up and get to college. And
just being a mid-year, you're missing graduation. You know what I mean? Just
that's true.
No, Riley's coming back for graduation.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, man, we're gonna be fortunate if we get him to hang around for graduation.
He come back. Oh yeah.
Speaking of that though, man, have you as he touched down, is Riley coming home for the spring break?
Yeah, he gets here in the morning.
Okay, yeah. Devin's coming in tomorrow morning as well. So I mean, that's upon us.
I have both of my boys coming home.
Yeah. So man, good luck with that. I'm sure you guys had a chance to visit. We just visited Devin about a week ago. Yes, I mean, good stuff, man. I mean, spring break is upon us, man, and with that, we're into the meat of what I'm sure you and I are looking forward to the most this spring, man. We got that day coming up following Monday, man. So I say wish everybody a safe spring break.
Yeah, I'm actually happy and slightly surprised that he wanted to come home for spring break. Last year, I told him I would have been. I don't think I've. Yeah, I rarely went home.
That's kind of what I was getting at with the graduation thing. I was like, man, I'd be surprised if he wants to stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I normally we stay away from this subject a little bit on this show, but Buckeye Nation is pumped because we heard Devin and Riley both putting on a couple pounds in Mick's weight room there, looking pretty good, man. So of course people in the chat are like, ask them about the weight their sons are putting on. I'm like, we like to stay away from those.
No,
but
that's
this
fine.
one time,
I mean, that's pretty. I mean,
can you
stuff
tell
like
they're
that is
gaining
fine.
some
That's
weight?
kind of,
Yeah.
that's generic. It's not, anything specific.
Did you notice a difference when you saw them?
Shoot, look, I noticed a difference at the national championship, and just in the couple of it, there was like the traps are already, shot up more, and he looked big. I'm like, oh, dang, dog, chill out. So I'm interested to see what he looks like now.
Yeah, I heard a lot going through the process about the body by Maradi. Like I say, we just had a chance to visit, and I can tell you it's real. It's a real thing. That is not a joke. It's something that happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it. The dude, he loves the weight room anyway. So,
Well, what them Ohio State, we all us Ohio State fans, we know about Mick in that weight room, man. He's thought of as one of the best in the nation of what he does. So, yo, Doodah, man, thank you so much for the $50, man. He said this is for raising two great sons and allowing them to be Buckeyes.
Man, I appreciate that, man.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are blessed, excited, man.
From what's the show, The Shy?
I don't know why the name Doodah. You got to tell us where that name's from, man, for sure. But talking about kids changing their body and trying to get ready for seasons, man, there's another aspect of this recruiting thing that doesn't get talked about much on how it impacts families, on how it impacts recruits, and it's camp season, man. When these recruits are, from sophomore to junior year, from junior year to senior year, they want to get out there. They want to showcase their skills for colleges. They want to, get their name out there. They want to go up in the rankings. They want to be talked about, the whole 9 yards. And there's camps all the time, all over the place. You can travel from California to Florida for a camp every week, probably, if you wanted to. So you guys wanted to talk about this as well. Give us a little insight on it, because I know as a fan who follows recruiting, I never think about the behind the scenes of camp season and what parents are doing and families are doing and all that. So I am really interested to hear what you guys have to say about camp season, man. So whoever wants to start, go for it.
Man, it's a big thing. And I'm sure Duke can, kind of piggyback off of this, man, and agree with me here. I would say when it really comes down to it, camp season is something that I don't think a lot of people put a lot of thought into. I think a lot of people think it's just something they can just kind of jump into and just kind of go do. Man, but if you're really being intentional about what it is you're doing, it could be it's a really big tool, man. And if you're focused on some of the things that you really want for yourself, and you have particular opportunities there for you, man, you can really shoot yourself up the ladder, making the right moves and going to the right places. And so again, man, just want to kind of just put out there, man, to families, man, any guys who are out there just kind of listening as far as players go, man. Always, first, man, thank you, parents, for this, because, man, it could be stressful, jumping on the road, trying to accommodate, not only yourselves, but any family that may be back at home, while you're out on the road trying to make some of these trips. Man, I mean, it could be a long haul, man. It could be something that's pretty tough. So, I mean, again, want people to be very mindful about what it is they're doing when they're camping.
Where they're camping.
Yeah, I mean, it just in the and I'm sure people know, any fans that are out there, OSU has just put out their camp schedule, and I'm sure other schools as well. Man, it's a time of the year where you can really make dreams happen for yourself, man. If you're being really selectful about what you're doing, and you have intentions on what it is that you're doing. I would say first thing, man, the big misconception I would say personally man, I can't stand the mega camps. You know, I can't stand going to the camps where you got 20 different schools there, you know, running 50 different stations, you know, with 1,000 kids out there, man. That I think there's a lot of stuff out there that's quote unquote money grabs. Man, I think you again just being intentional about, you know, what it is you're doing. And if you're really building relationships with some of these coaches at some of these schools, man, talk with these guys, find out when their camps are going on, and you know, find out if there's a real interest for you to come and, you know, kind of, you know, display what you can do, you know, as a player, you know, for that individual coach. I think that's going to go a lot more. That's going to take you a lot further, as opposed to, you know, jumping in a camp that may have 20 schools where, you know, even with that, man, they're really not, you know, they're only looking at one or two guys that they may have found.
To that though, Daniel, I actually like the mega camps.
Do you really?
For like for that reason? Yeah, because that's what well, actually, again, man, I'll just be taking them to a camp. Unfortunately, you know, I had a buddy that was at SMU, so you know, we were going to that anyways. It just happened to be a mega camp, and then the ones that I took them to North Texas, which happened to be a mega camp. But like, I think that there are, it's good for some kids.
Yeah,
maybe for I wouldn't write them all the way off. I wasn't really into honestly, like into, you know, stars and, you know, like going to this camp to get those things. We were going to camps for the competition, right? To, you know, again, because he's a younger guy, so, you know, we just had to put him in situations where, you know, I could show him he's competing against the older guys, and, you know, this is where he measures up, because he's always going to be that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and so it just happened to be, you know, the first one was that SMU mega camp, and you know, it was good because no one knew him. He was a nobody, and but he was able to go out there and, you know, do some things that, you know, jumped off the screen to where I'm like, oh, now, hey, got this coach interested. So, you know, it built up momentum for his recruiting. So I wouldn't totally write them all, but I get your point of, you know, you don't want to just be a number,
right,
in a place. But if you're already a dude, no, I'm not gonna go to those. I'm gonna go to a camp, you know, I'm gonna go to the schools that are like recruiting me, right? And to your point, like earlier, as far as like, you know, pulling your parents, you know, every which way, and, you know, that financial burden. Like, if you have, like, we're fortunate that we're in Texas, so we actually only camped in Texas. So, you know, but like, if you can just go to, you know, the big schools in your state and make those contacts, you know, that's going to be beneficial. But even the smaller schools, but because you're getting work, you're getting like coaching from guys that, you know, that have done it in critique, and you're hearing, you know, like different voices, and then you can get a consensus on what you need to work on. And now you take that back into the rest of the summer and work on those things.
How do you feel about the bigger name camps, like, you know, like your Under Armours and things like that?
So he got invited to that like right before we left again for like spring break last year, and we were on spring break. He had to come back and do it, but it was, you know, we thought it was cool because he was again, like, nobody like knew him. And, you know, they were like, all these other kids were, you know, the kids from SOC were, it was funny. When we came back from, you know, spring break, you know, like walking up, all the kids, they're running up to all, you know, the reporters and, you know, from all the recruiting sites, we're going up to all the other kids, and we just walking in, nobody talking to us. Like, oh, man, dang. And I turned and I'm like, dang, you was lame, bro. But yeah. I'm just messing with him. But he went in there and did work. I mean, you know, like did what he did. And his recruiting took off. Yeah. Because, you know, all those numbers go to all these recruiting services. And so, and again, I found that out, you know, after experiencing it and like going through it. So I'm a proponent of, I think those are great camps to go to if you can. Well, even if you're not invited. I told my nephew, if his knee wasn't messed up, my younger nephew, he would have gone too with my older nephew. Like even if you have to, go to the Saturday and then get invited to the Sunday thing, it's good. One, it shows, how competitive you are and, how much you believe in yourself that, I can do these things. You didn't give me an invite, but here, I'm going to blow these dudes out the water and you're going to see me do it on this Sunday. So I like the UA camp. I think that's a good one to go to, whether you're invited or not.
Yeah.
So in terms of these camps, guys, I'm not really knowledgeable on the camp industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is as a recruit, are you guys getting letters in the mail all the time and invites to these camps, or is it a more recruit has to find his own camps and reach them out? And you got to figure out which ones to go to and schedule them, or is this like, is the camping industry growing and getting a little bit crazy and wild like college football anymore, or where's it at?
Of course. I mean, they're getting bigger because of that. A lot of the recruiting services are, leaning on them to rank their kids. So, they have those relationships and, and they want to know who's who. So they're going to those camps to talk to these kids to, get their clicks and views. But I think they're definitely beneficial. And like some of them don't have the cachet that others do. So like Dan, you said, like you be selective in the ones that you do that you are choosing. Like if you're not a highly recruited kid, right, and that you may have the measurables, but you just haven't been noticed. Depending on your program, it could be a product of your program not promoting kids, enough. So you have to use the camps to promote yourself. So there are benefits from them, but you don't benefit from going to all of them because so-and-so is going or what have you. No, you be intentional about why you're going to camp and what you want to gain from it.
Yeah,
that's what I would say to it.
Just kind of jumping off of what Emily said, man. Don't be the guy who's getting funds raised off of them. You know what I mean? Don't be don't put players in that position. And what I mean by that is, players, parents, kind of go out and do some research on some of these things. Man, you can just on YouTube, you can go and pull up camps and just kind of see some of the things that are done. Be camp ready. Go through these things, man. Take a look at what's being asked of you. Understand, know the drills that are going to be asked of you. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to get out there and do that. Go and do your thing. Again, just man, be yourself, be confident, man, and go out and do some things. And just man, just kind of going away, again to it, man, DBs, if you're one of those guys who, feel like you're being slept on, feel like you're underrated, feel like nobody's paying attention to you, man, go to the right camp, go out there and get that work. Cause I can promise you, there's going to be 1,000 receivers out there and there's going to be about 20 of you guys out there. And if you're ready to get reps, man, it's a great way to go and do it, man. Just find camps.
Especially the young kid, like the younger guy, like, I would go to camp, for every year, just to get that experience.
Yeah. When did Riley do his first camp?
The summer of his sophomore year, going to the sophomore year.
Yeah, I say to be honest, we got started even earlier. Devin did UT going into his freshman year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we got going pretty early with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's one. But like I said, I wasn't, like in loop, as far as that goes. We were just, training, working around here, doing 7-on-7, and stuff like that. But like I got 2 nephews now who I'm like, hey, we need to go. So that they'll be going a little sooner. But yeah, I'm definitely a proponent for them. But to your point, I mean, which is a good point, is don't let the camp be the first time you see these drills.
Right.
And what's being asked of you in these drills, because you can go through them fast and have terrible technique, and then wonder why, oh, I did better than so and so, and stuff like that, because they're small things that that coaches are looking for, as far as like your pad level, how you get in and out of breaks, just small stuff like that. Know what they're looking for, work on those things, and and be prepared for them. I hear a lot of, and then this is where having me, it helps. That like we had like some of his coaches like, don't run a 40, don't put your 40, on it. And I get why they're saying it, but like for me, like we need a baseline, whether it's good or bad. So we need what we're going to work towards, and if we can get faster and work on our things. So his coaches told him, don't run 40. I'm like, you're running the 40. Get down there and run 40. So we know where you are. So I'm not going to be afraid of it. We know we're going to, if it's not something that he expected, if in a time or what he wanted, then all right, now we got to work on that.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, because you're gonna grow.
So in terms of the camp setting, I think as a fan, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but the most camps we hear about are the rivals camps, the 247 camps, the on-3 camps, and I want to get y'all's opinion on something that is talked about. Some kind of camp, what I mean? I'm sure On3 does something where they put it under their thing, but there's always this rumor out there, right, that if recruits don't go to these rival camps, the 247 camps, that their rating is going to drop. Now, listen, I'm on board with the dude, that stuff. Don't even pay attention to them recruiting sites. Don't pay attention to them stars. I'm all the way there. But I just wanted your guys' opinion on, if you got an opinion on the, the rivals camp, 247 camp, and then that rumor that always tends to get talked about one way or the other.
I'm such a contrarian that if we heard that we're not going. Yeah, I was like, nah, you're not going. You ain't dictating, like our life. But he got invited to he did the rivals one, and he wanted the smoke. I want to go. Who's going? I want to go. So so that's why we even let him go by himself, which was crazy. And he went down there and did his thing. Not for didn't do it for stars. I'm like, we wanted the competition.
That competition,
see how he measures up with all the kids that they have ranked ahead of him. And all right, so whether good, bad, or indifferent, I'm gonna know where I'm standing, and or it's gonna validate how I feel about these ranking services and compared to evaluating my ability. So that was the mindset going into those, but they're good. I mean, it's good competition there. Great energy. So I like them, honestly.
Yeah. Daniel, what's your thought?
Rivals one, but I like the rivals in the Under Armour one.
Yeah. We had a different we had a different perspective on things, and they were for different reasons. We didn't attend any of those big camps. Like I said, for different reasons. Some things were just schedule problems. Different sports going on at different times, just to make it. So like I say, again, without sounding a certain kind of way, we also kind of took we were of the mind of once you get to a certain point, going to certain things, only thing you can do is your stock can go down. And that's kind of the way, once we got to a certain level, we kind of looked at some of those things. Again, a lot of these things are doing, especially in our position, doing things that are not really to our advantage, drills and things like that, man. So again, we kind of wanted to stay away from that stuff. Once we kind of, got ourselves to a certain level.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense too.
Yeah, it sounds like with college football and all the moving parts and everything, here's another moving part, the camp season. And it sounds like in all the other parts, you need to be focused in the decision that you're making, and not just the recruit, but the parent as well. It helps to have somebody that has a little knowledge on it and not fall into a certain reason why you want to go to these camps. Hey, I want to go to the rivals because I want to be a 5-star or whatever. You got to focus, choose the right camps, do your homework, do your research, because it's not just like we watch the videos on people at camps. There's a lot more behind the scenes. There's travel, there's airfare, there's hotels, there's parents taking off work. There's all these things that go into it. So it sounds like it's something that needs to be planned, thought about thoroughly, and you don't just get all bug-eyed because you got an invite, man. Take your time, talk about it, and make the decision.
And Deb, another thing, like for parents who don't know, and if your kid is getting recruited, ask the coach that's recruiting you. Yeah. You know, should I do this camp? And you know, and they'll guide you along the process. That's one thing that I would like parents to know, that like if you don't know, not everybody knows everything. We don't know everything, but if a school is recruiting you, if your kid is getting recruited, you now have a resource. Yeah. In that recruiting coach, right? And it also can serve two purposes. It also, you know, help develop that relationship authentically, right? Because you're talking more often, and you're getting a better understanding of, you know, his expertise and his true interest in your kid. So I would use that as a resource.
Yeah. You know, shout out
that. Go ahead.
I was going to shout out Mr. Citinelli in the chat, man. We've had Epi, the defensive end commit for the Buckeyes. We've had him on this show, man. Shout out for you watching, brother. Appreciate the support, man. I'm sure you guys will interact a time or two in your careers here at Ohio State. So
that's glad. I'm really glad that he's jumped on, man. I'm kind of going to get way off on something real quick, man. We need to get with you, Pops. You know, we need to kind of get you on this group chat thing that we got going on for the class of 25, man. So yeah, my wife really needs to get your information and get you on this group chat, man.
Who is that?
Man. Epi Citinelli's dad, dude. If you need help facilitating that, man, tell Epi to shoot me your number. I'll shoot it to these guys, and you guys can get connected or whatever you need to do, man. I can help with that as well. But Citinelli.
Hey, it's funny that you said that's what I was laughing at. And he said that. So and it brought me back to a memory. So I did the BC camp when I was in high school, right? And I was the dude in Massachusetts, right? And the kid from New Jersey came, who they had like already offered, and you know they knew they were like high on, and I killed the camp. I know I killed the camp, and he got MVP, bro. I was so hot. That's probably actually played in the reason why I didn't go to BC. I still took my bed, but I was so hot. I mean, this dude was like, rest in peace, because he passed away from like cancer, and he ended up going to BC. But man, it was ridiculous, because you know after every drill, you know they're like, you know, all the coaches are like, oh no, good job, like dude, you know he killed it, like Rich. And then it came, you know, breaking down camp, MVP Frank. From I was like, man, get the hell out of here. So with this, you know, and it actually happened to Riley too at the UA camp. He killed it, like every single. I mean, no exaggerating, like killed it. And they gave it to the two linebackers from SOC who just won the who had won state. So it doesn't matter. I say all that. It don't matter.
Yeah, it sounds like that's another reason to be careful what camp you're going to, man, and because you need to be real careful about what you're taking away from these camps, man.
Actually, it's more of a reason to believe in yourself. You to have a self belief and confidence in yourself that you're not going to be deterred by you know some political like bull that is going to happen. Yeah, you know at any given point, you know, along your journey. So that's the biggest takeaway is believe in your ability. Take the criticism. Like if they were, they're like better than you. Yeah, I can appreciate that. But, don't dwell on it. Take it as, all right, I need to work on these things. And now, but I have this ability that, that they don't have, but don't let it, chip away at your confidence.
Yeah. These days that's getting harder and harder, man. So make sure you surround yourself with a good support group, people that care for the right reasons, man. But moving on to our next subject, this subject, NIL, is getting far and wide, man. There's so many different aspects of this that can be talked about over and over and over again. There's no guardrails on this thing. It's getting wilder and wilder every day. It has changed college football, man. It's changed it. Pandora's box is open. So there's no point. There's no other thing to do but to discuss it and hold yourself to a certain standard, man, because there are no standards out there now. There's no really any rules on it. So you have to be centered and have a good support group around you again, and people giving you the right direction to do that and able to make your own safe decisions that are best for yourself, because there's a lot of people out there that got, I'll say it, that just got the money signs in their eyes. They got a bunch of, what do you call the people that try to help? Dang, man. I can't think of it. What are the people that help people get like contracts and stuff? NFL. This is bad.
Agents?
I'm having it. Agents. Yeah, we got agents now popping up, man, that want to say they know this, they know that, man. So be real careful out there. So I want to dive into that a little bit, man. And my first question about NIL, like I said, there could be so many, is how has NIL affected your son's college experience? How has the NIL rules affected your son's college experience and the opportunities that they have?
You want to go ahead, Duke?
I think the opportunities are the opportunities. There's two different, aspects of it. So that, well, it's changed now, but, we came on the tail end of, so now, you have the collectives that are, were a part, were spearheading those NIL discussions, and, your deal was your deal wherever you were, however, whatever y'all, negotiated or whatever they slotted you, is what it's like where you are. And then you have whatever requirements are that come with that. So it hasn't been, I don't think it was like crazy or, like hard to, like understand or navigate. And it hasn't been tough, hasn't been like hard. You just have to make sure you have the people in place to make sure you take care of that. You have to parent. You have to parent that, because the kids are going to want to, buy, they're like, my money is here and I want to, buy this thing. I want to, buy that thing. Oh, I have it. So you have to still like parent that. And, just make sure you have the people with the knowledge to, help you maximize that. And so you can focus on the main thing. And that's what we have to continually do, because, now they're away from us. We have to, they have, their teammates and, other people like in their ears, telling them, oh yeah, you can do this now because, that's your money, or, you're grown, or stuff like that. So you got to make sure you're still grounded at home. You're still, parenting your child, like he should, because they don't know what they don't know. Right. And they think because now I'm away from home, I'm independent and, I'm making this money that I can make these decisions. No, we make these decisions together. And if they make sense, you can do them. But right now, the focus is football. Your money is going to be, over here taken care of by professionals. You're not just gonna be spending money all willy nilly.
Yeah. I figure with the NIL opportunities, right? You see players that are signing things, going to certain meetings, doing this. So it sounds like, Daniel, and I'll let you speak on this, but there's different when you're signing whatever NIL thing that you sign. There's a lot of things attached to that. What are you going to do? How much time do you have to devote to certain things? Like I see players all over the place. So, I'm sure that affects their, college experience as well. So Daniel, what do you got on this subject?
I'm sorry, real quick, like to that, piggyback on that. So I think that's a misconception, like what you said is that because like when we were in college, we had all the same responsibilities are written into these.
Okay, I get it.
Like we used to have
that's been around.
Yeah, I had to sit at a dang. I had to go to the basketball game, and where we had to sign, thousands of autographs.
Yeah.
We just had to do that, but that'd be something that would be required. So it's not, and that's another thing that I'm sure like Daniel did it as well. When you read these things, make sure it's not pulling them, outside of the main thing.
Gotcha.
It's not gonna, interfere with any of their, football responsibilities.
Yeah.
But then, it does change and does evolve as they, move on in their years in college, right?
Yeah.
But also their responsibilities, change as well, right? They become more mature, and they have a little more leeway than the younger kids.
Yeah, for sure. So Daniel, to reiterate the question, man, how has the NIL rules affected your son's college experience and opportunities?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. For our family, it hasn't really affected anything, whatsoever for us, because it's not something that we're focused on.
Right.
Again, we've been preaching the same thing since basically day one. And I'm going to continue to say it. We're going to say it right now here on the Pops Pod. If NIL is the driving factor and what you're looking for in the university, you're looking down the wrong street. You're looking in the wrong cabinets. You're looking under the wrong rock.
Yeah, sure.
This thing should be, again, it should be about the books first and then the ball second.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, it's gonna fall into place. We're gonna continue to say the ball cures all around here, and that's what we're focused on. Again, and I'm sure Duke, understand where I'm coming from. If you're not balling, none of this stuff's coming. So I mean,
Amen.
Right.
Again, man. So I mean, that's what we're focused on here in this house, and again, I'm gonna continue to say it, to anybody who's out there listening, anybody going through the process right now, no judgment on my end, to each his own. We understand, every family has, different values, and are going through different circumstances, and under, they have their own situations to deal with. But again, the first thing that you should be worried about is the relationship with the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what kind of, opportunities, your son or daughter can get, as far as education are going. And then, what's going to come on the back end once that career is over. That should be what you're looking at. Again, so I mean, NIL doesn't really change anything, here in this house. We're not focused on that. That's just a little sprinkles on the top of the sundae, man, as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, the classes, the experience, all those other things that are not NIL money, those are the things that are going to teach you to become a man and be able to handle the money in the first place. If you get a large amount of money, but you've never been through experiences that teach you how to handle it, that money can be your grave as well, man. It can be your grave. So be real careful on that. Daniel, I want to stick with you on another question, man, and then go over to Duke. There's so many ideas and things that fans think and see about NIL, about offers and how it's handled in the whole 9 yards. You might not be able to think of any, but can you think of any misconceptions about NIL that you've heard, or are people pretty on point with their ideas behind what this is doing?
One common misconception that I think a lot of people, your average person that looks at some of these guys who they see on TV, on Twitter, social media, right? I think your average person thinks that these guys are running around, they're millionaires. They're not.
Of course.
So just there's some things that just came down, as far as NCAA, just with the ruling, as far as how they're going to try to allocate some of these funds, right? And it's given a glass door kind of look, what every school is going to have. So I mean, again, I think your average person thinks that every kid who's signed into XYZ University has got 5-6 deals on the table. They're just throwing cash at them. The money's endless. And they can do this for every kid on the roster, which is totally false. And I think as we kind of get further into this revenue sharing, and you see programs have to conduct themselves like a pro program. Understanding that, hey, look, these things are slotted. There's funds allocated to certain guys, certain positions. And if you want to be that selfish guy who thinks that you're way, way above this value and you're going to put yourself above that team, that, you may not find yourself on that team. So these are all things that, that people need to consider, once you, kind of, you're looking at places to kind of go into, a lot of, even at, these big time institutions, man, that are valued at, whatever it is they say they are, man, they still got strengths, man. And they got things that they got to work under, and they have to allocate for these dollars, man. There's levels to it all.
Mm-hmm. And that's I think another misconception. I think like for and it's done to not pro athletes. They like Daniel said, they think they're like millionaires. And what people have to understand, and because everyone would be like this, if you've never had this type of money at in a lump at any particular time in your career, you're going and you don't know how to handle that, stuff is going to go wrong. They're going to like handle it until they learn how to like manage that better. So that's the grace that I've always given pro athletes, and now I'll give that same grace to kids who are coming to like big sums of money, and it takes I think the institution to like recognize that and make sure they avoid those pitfalls. And those are the good schools are doing those things. They have things in place to help educate parents along that. But I'm not going to judge a kid because he took an opportunity to like make more. He didn't know any better. Like if you knew to do better, right? So I'm not going to like judge a kid like for that. I may be a little disappointed that that was the reason, but I'm not going to like like bash a kid because of that.
Yeah.
Because any regular human would make that same decision. And it's easy to say you won't when you're not in that situation. And I see a lot of that happening, and I see a lot of, I see a lot of, a lot of people saying like, oh, you went there because of, like NIL. Well, no, like if the kid is a 4 or 5 star kid, they're already slotted. There's a number already there for them, right? So that's going to be the number like like pretty much anywhere they go. So that's what I would want, like kids to know, that is what's available to you is going to be available to you like everywhere. So that's where that's what Daniel are saying is that doesn't have to be the reason. You can put that on the back burner. You can put the NIL on the back burner and keep the main thing. So it's not clouded. Your decision on choosing the school is never clouded.
Yeah.
Because you understand that number is going to be the number.
Amen. Yeah, Emily hit on kind of my next question. Yeah, for sure. I was about to ask, how do you guys advise your kids on, making partnership and sponsors decision? And this goes along the lines. Emily wants to know, are schools helping parents find financial advisors, especially parents that are also new to this kind of money, et cetera? Are schools setting up kids and families for success? This is a beautiful question, Emily.
That's a great question. And yeah, they are. I think like the levels, may differ. Some it may be lip service to some places, like, oh, they're doing it there, and they're not. Yeah. It's not really much behind that.
Yes.
It's just part of the spiel, but then there are some that is important. We want to know that you have this in place, and because not everybody's situation is different. Fortunately, I've friends. Who are financial advisors, other pro athletes, so I can lean on that network. Now, everyone doesn't have that available to them. So, but I also know I didn't have that either. And I know I would want that. And the schools that are serious about that and know the pitfalls that can, come of if you don't have proper financial education in place.
Yeah.
So, that's a great question. And yes,
for sure. Daniel, what's your thoughts?
Man, that's again, that is a great question. And I'm going to say, that's an ongoing process.
Yes.
That's a process when you're kind of going through this thing that, that process is going to be continuing to move daily. Because again, that's not a set in stone thing.
Right.
That again, it's we keep saying this particular word. It's all about the relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Having the right people in your corner, having people that you trust. And again, just people that value the same things that you do. That's a process that every day you're going to wake up thinking about. Do we have the right people in the team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's another thing. It's hard too to like I said, like earlier, you're coming into this, this new money, and it's like, dang, I don't know them. Well, I don't want them know what I have and in XYZ. So there's a trust factor that comes in too that people don't think about. Like culturally, that's like for us, it's like you don't even know what's in my pocket, But there are people who don't care about that, and want to see you successful. So you do have to be careful about who you who you deal with as far as financial advisors go. So I think the best avenue to go, if you don't if you don't know, definitely go through the college or institution that you're going to attend, because all the liability and the fiduciary responsibility is going to fall on them, and they're going to have all those things in place, and they want to avoid that. Right now, if you got Joe Smo, who been watching your kid in high school, who was a advisor and been kind of scoping you out, he may have alternative motives. So I would be more skeptical of that. So I would definitely, I'm gonna lean towards, if I don't know anyone personally, I would definitely lean more towards whoever the school is recommending.
Yeah, it sounds like as a parent or somebody that's gonna help make a decision for the kid, you're gonna hear a lot of words, you're gonna hear a lot of things, but you almost you got to see it first, man. So do your research, take your time, ask around, find some people that you trust. All beautiful advice, especially in today's day and age with NIL. when money's involved, man, then people that surround you can change people, man. Money can change people and make them forget about life and see dollar signs and encourage you to make decisions that you should not be making. So the trust factor with people around you, I'm sure, is just out of this world, which is why you take the time, you make your visits, you ask around, you know what I'm saying, all these things, and you don't just listen to words.
What I will say, like, to that, for like, if you don't know anything, just know, and when you're dealing with financial people, fiduciary. If you don't know any other word, fiduciary, and you ask that word, you ask that person, are you a fiduciary? If they're not, then you keep it moving, because that's what's going to protect you. If you don't know anything, that's going to protect you. So they have to look out for your best interests.
Yeah, amen.
I just learned that last year.
That's a real estate term. So I took some real estate classes while ago. I heard that one. So
for financial advisors, that is a big word.
Yeah, for sure. Well, great show tonight, guys. There's so many more things we can talk about in terms of NIL and essentially all these things, but you gave a lot of good insight, man, a lot of good knowledge and experience, man. So I encourage you, if you got questions, man, every other Friday, so not this Friday, but the next, we'll be back on here discussing things. If you want some questions answered, if you're going through something you want to know, man, hop in the chat or shoot us an email or something. I'll give these guys the questions. That's what they're here for, man. They want to help guide people through this process, make it easier. And, it's not like they're gaining something from this. So your best interest is on their minds and in their hearts. So tune back in.
Let me tell Doug, hey, tune in next time. Whatever question you have about my early days, I'll talk to you.
Yeah. Cool, man. But yeah, any final thoughts, Daniel or Duke?
Man, again, just appreciate everybody checking us out. We'll be back in a couple weeks, man. We've been talking to a few different people. We want to bring in some more parents with different perspectives. Just trying to give you guys, as much as we possibly can, and just experiences and stories on what we've been going through, man.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Same. Just there's so much. There's so many moving parts in in all of this. We're still learning. I mean, it's just like being a parent. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know that we need to learn, and as we're learning it, we're going to share it. If you have any questions, we have friends, family that are being recruited. Have them come on, join the show and ask any questions. We'll definitely make it more interactive and try to answer as many questions, as we can, because, it takes a village, and this stuff is hard. It can be scary, but it's not as scary or intricate as you think it is. You just have to know the people and ask the questions that, that are on your mind. And, I hope, more people join, because I think that's, I can speak for Daniel. I think we're called to do this at this point, because it's needed, and other parents need to hear stuff and have their questions answered, and we'll do the best that we can and share the resources and the friends that we have in our network that help us and guide us along this thing, because we're not doing this alone either.
Right.
Yeah. Amen. Good stuff. Well, if you're in the chat, help us get this show out there. Newer show. You know how it is on YouTube, man. It's a grind to get shows out there, to get people to even know about it, man. I'm 100% positive if people knew about this, we would have more and more people watching. It's going to happen. That's inevitable. Yeah, it's happening for sure. But you can help us out, chat, man. Share this on your X, share it on your Instagram, your Facebook, tell friends and family about it. Let's get this thing popping off. But we appreciate the heck out of you guys. Hit that like button, man. And y'all have a blessed night. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.
I